Howdy y'all, and welcome to Lex Lives. I think it's time to play a little Minecraft. Alright, so I have been hunting down dark oak trees. Get off my screen, you stupid pop-up. And I went out, I found some dark oak trees, chopped them down, I collected like 40 saplings. I came back, they're oak saplings. So I went back out, I found some more dark oak saplings, I chopped down the trees, they dropped oak saplings. I'm like, oh man, is there a bug or... No, they were just trees that had been loaded in back when they first added dark oaks. The joys of keeping up to date with the snapshots and loading new chunks, I guess. Luckily, we haven't had an issue with the with the map deciding to reset itself. And so the jungle has not apparently encroached any further. I really thought it might on us here, but nothing yet. Of course, we still have another update here pretty quick. I read there's supposed to be at least one more, possibly one more content update, and then we'll be on 1.8. So that should be cool. But I did manage to get some dark oak saplings finally. I had to fly out to all new territory. Now I just got to figure out where I'm at on my farm here. Head back over here to the tree farm. You're my way, oak trees. Oak trees, spruce trees, birch trees, acacia trees. I don't understand why it left the acacia trees, but wiped out my dark oak trees. That's just weird. Oh man, you know, it wiped out all my work where I had filled all this in too. Look at that, it reset the whole area here. Thanks, game. I don't remember how to plant these things. They're just 4, right? 4x4. Get some dark oaks growing again. That way I have a supply of wood, which is really helpful. Random jungle tree. Those ones there are the ones I planted. Not all of them grew. I don't know. Like, why aren't you a tree? Why aren't you a tree? I know jungle trees can grow right next to each other. It's just weird that you didn't grow into a big tree. Oh, look at that poor acacia. This is what it looks like. So, this here makes me laugh because living out in rural areas, the power lines run along the sides of the roads for miles, and miles and miles, because there's miles and miles of road. But and so you get trees that grow up alongside the road, and so the power company actually comes through and does this to the trees sometimes, and they'll just lop off all the branches and stuff, and so that the power lines, which are on poles, right? It's like there's a pole, and then the power lines run through along the sides of the poles, like so, and just along the edge of the road, you know, and so they chop off the trees so they're not touching the power lines, which can be weird. Depends on how they do it. Sometimes they just cut them off like that. Sometimes they cut the tree down. They do this thing called topping sometimes too, where they just cut the tops off the trees that are near power lines, which is these peculiar looking trees for sure. And it's just a weird thing. So seeing where the chunk took out the edge of that tree made me laugh because it kind of looked like power company had been through and chopped down the edges of the trees. All right, so oh, I wanted to show you. This is really awesome. I didn't know, but look what they've done to doors. This is so cool. So we've got oak door, spruce door, junglewood door, dark oak door, and birch door. Oh, what's acacia? I didn't make an acacia door. I need some acacia wood. I definitely didn't bring any of that with me. Hey, zombie in gold armor. You know it's really helpful when you go out and when you go exploring, I found, was I didn't take enough food with me, but I did have my sword with fire aspect on it. And so, you know, I was just killing all the animals along the way and getting cooked steak and cooked mutton, which is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome indeed. Stopped me from having to come back here and try and get some more food. Because, man, I always am holding down the run button, so I'm always running out of food. Just constantly. Which is only mildly irritating on here, but, man, I play some modded Minecraft where it matters, and I don't know how many times I've, like 4 or 5, died, and the one game I'm playing, when you run out of lives, and it has lives, you're just dead, and so I have, oh, look at that door. That's pretty cool. Looks like a jail cell. I wonder if they... I don't have any with me. I was going to say, I wonder if they changed the iron doors, but I don't have any iron doors with me. Anyways, let's see. Where's my bed? My bed's not over here. My bed is around the corner. Make it daytime. I don't want to deal with the mobs. You can see I was teleporting myself around. I couldn't find any dark oak saplings. All I did was teleport myself back home after I'd go out exploring for a while. I was lost. I mean, I could have found my way home. I just don't have time to do it today. I basically finished off everything but putting in the glass for the back porch here. Oh, except I had a creeper explosion, and so I need to get more wool together so that I can put in more walls, thanks to the creeper. Stupid creepers. But yeah, this is basically the back porch. I put the birch door on here. We had a white door. I don't even remember if it had windows in it or not for our outside door. We also had a screen door, but I ain't gonna bother to put that in there. And so I also think the carpet may have been like a gray color. I really can't remember. It was red when I was a kid, and then we changed it out, so I can't remember what color it got changed to. I can remember the red carpet, but I can't remember whatever got put in afterwards. So, and the window here, I remembered after I started working in the next room that this window actually got blocked off. I think we had a cabinet in the window after that. It's peculiar, I know. But I redid the stairs because I didn't like the way they looked, and because they're a little wider than the door, and they had the railing along the edges, and so I couldn't quite get the railing the way it was in real life. So this is what I've got for railing. We'll have to call that good because I can't get it to work any other way. I guess it could. No, there's no way to get it to work because you can't run blocks on the half slabs or the slabs. They have to be stacked too high. So this is what we're gonna get. It's not quite right, but it's pretty close. And so that's the back porch. And then I started work on the kitchen. Oh, look at that stupid creeper blew a big giant hole in the wall. Stupid creeper. You know what? Not only is this stupid creeper, but I was up here working on the roof. I didn't show you that. Come on. And so I have got the roof done. I'm going to use dark oak for the roof because I don't know what else to use for black shingles. And so this is what we're going to have to get. I was trying to remember how the house laid out. And so I was up here trying to remember where the walls go because the porch only goes up one story. And then the second story of the house, you know, I was trying to remember which sections of the house had a second story, which sections only had the first. You'd think it'd been 1,000 years since I've been to this place, but it really hasn't been that long. I don't know why I have such a difficult time remembering what it looked like. So I was up there, and the creeper apparently walked up the stairs here in the daytime, and then came over here and blew up. And, you know, creepers are the most annoying thing in existence. Stupid accidental, what were they, pigs? I think they were pigs originally, right? I'm pretty sure that's what they were. Pigs gone wrong. That's what they are. Sticks. Sunflowers. Bars. You take that. That. Alright. Let's go fix this wall. So, the kitchen's kind of interesting. I'm not sure. I think the kitchen may have been one of the oldest rooms in the house. And I'm pretty sure that the kitchen was one of the original room, and everything else got added on to the kitchen. And so I think that's the way it works, and that's why there was a stairway up in the kitchen. Now, because of the shape changes I made to the back porch, the kitchen's now a little bigger than it was before, and so I am still trying to determine the size because this seems too big to me. Maybe not, actually. I forgot about the coat rack. We had a coat rack that ran along the edge here. I also came up with this idea. I want to tear this out here. I came up with this idea, and I think it's a good idea. So it's not going to work for the floor or the corners, but I thought maybe we could fake some trim in here. Whoa, I fell off. Because we used every room in the house pretty much had trim or moldings, whatever you want to call it. We just call it trim. And so I came up with this idea while I was thinking about how weird it looks without trim. That's what this is supposed to be, is trim. Unfortunately, that's the best I can do with this because they just don't have any kind of anything in this game that would work for the edges. But I thought, what if I took some jungle wood slabs? I'm sure that's enough, but let's take a little bit more jungle wood just in case. What if I took some jungle wood slabs and ran them around the top of this? For the moldings, because I seem to remember they were slightly darker. Of course, they would stick out in real life slightly, because trim or moldings you put on afterwards. And then what we do is, oh, okay, fine, be weird. And then we do this with the ceiling, and so that gives us the illusion. Oh, yeah. Really, dude, you just took this out because it's in the wrong layer. Let me just go ahead and put some back. Alright. Grab these. Run back around to the front of the house. What's kind of funny, too, is I did the roof, and then when I got back down on the ground, I realized I had done the roof wrong. Yeah, look at that. And then we get trim along the edge. It's not quite right because we don't have enough colors in the old palette. It was... I want to say it was just slightly different than the rest of it. It's probably going to take us a couple episodes to get the kitchen done, at least. Man, I know it depends on if I on how I do this. I'm not sure. Okay, I need to get some more sheep together to be able to fix this. I started making a pen, but I don't have the supplies to make leashes at the moment. I don't have any. I don't have any slime. At least I don't have any slime here. So I need to get that stuff together though, and then that way I can bring my sheep back. I did make a new sheep pen, and I will need to get my hands on more wool, and I'm going to need some more quartz as well to finish this. But I figured with the doors, look at the cool doors. I love the new doors. Where did I put that? Oh yeah, right here, sheep pen. I got to make a gate for it yet. And I gotta go get some leashes, like I said, to drag the sheep back. But yeah, trying to remember how the roof went. Oh, I wanted to talk about this here. This is kind of funny. So I don't know exactly why. I mean, I didn't build it, but there was this funny little spot here where the roof continued out over after the second story. Like, I don't know exactly what the deal was, because it didn't go all the way around the house or anything. And so, like, this part here is over top of the back porch, and then when you got over, it kind of dropped down and just kept going along the edge of the house, even though this is house, like, second story goes up here. And, and right at the end of it, it had fallen apart a little bit. And so we had bird's nest in the end of this little roof thing, and so when we were working on the house, you know, because you get in a house and you're always constantly fixing things, and so we actually went and fixed a lot of this roof stuff, tore it all down, rebuilt all the roof, but they made sure to leave that end open a little bit for the birds to continue to nest in the roof of the house. I don't know, I thought it was weird. I'd have kicked them out. They can go live in the trees. That's what birds do, right? Live in the trees. But I always thought that was kind of funny, weird. Come on, it's nighttime. Let's get back to daytime. So then... So then, with the kitchen being, I believe it was the oldest room in the house, and then the basement was actually a root cellar that was dug next to the house, and then it became the basement. But there was we redid the floors. When I was a kid, the floors were linoleum, this white and green pattern linoleum. And so when they took it up, they actually tore. I didn't really help too much on the kitchen. I don't know why. I have my theories as to why, but um, like I had helped remodel other parts of the house, but when they were doing the kitchen, they were taking forever. And when I do something, I like to just do it and get it done. And I remember I helped put the ceiling tiles up. Um, I think I just did it without anybody asking me to. And so I did like a whole huge section of the ceiling, because it's not the way we were doing the ceiling tiles. It's not hard. We weren't running drop ceiling. It was just the ceiling tiles. And so ceiling tiles, if you've never worked with them, you just you put them in place and then you use a staple gun to staple them to the whatever you're attaching them to, whether it's runners that you've already run, or I think it was plywood or drywall. I can't remember what was on the ceiling, but I did a whole bunch of ceiling tile. And then they came in. They're like, "Whoa, you went way too fast. That's just way too fast. You shouldn't have done so much all at once." And I'm like, "Oh, well, did I mess it up?" They're like, "No, no, it's just that that's a lot of work to do all at once." And I'm like, "What? It's the kitchen. You need to get it done. Get out of here." I don't know why you're trying to hang around in the kitchen so much, but my floor is spruce. Oh, I think I'm out of spruce. Let me go chop down some spruce trees then. And so, anyways, so they tore the whole kitchen down to the studs. That's not true. They tore parts of the kitchen down to the studs. I don't recall if the... Alright, so I'm not going to get out to the spruce at the moment. I don't recall if this wall got tore down to the studs, or this wall, or any of the walls actually, but the floor they tore out to the joists because reasons. I really don't remember why they tore the floor out to the joists. They didn't do anything. We didn't have holes or dips or anything in the floor, so I don't know why they tore specifically the kitchen floor out to the joists, because we didn't do it in every room. I mean, when I started being in charge of that stuff, I tore it out to the joist, because I also tore all the rooms out to the studs, because you're going to remodel, and you're not going to keep what's on the walls. Oh no, I remember exactly what the deal was with the walls now. I remember. Okay, so we're not even to the room yet, but when I was a kid, they actually started remodeling some of the upstairs walls, and that's when we found the bits of paper that told us how old parts of the house were. Well, at least how old the paper was that was used on the walls. And so, I mean, I can't imagine people storing newspaper long enough for use in padding their walls or papering their walls that is any kind of actual age. And so we found, going all the way back to the very, very early 1900s, like 1906 and 1889, I guess that's not the early 1900s, on one of the upstairs rooms, but it's one of the later rooms that was built. That's why I figure the parts of the house are over 100 years old. Well, everything in the house is probably over 100 years old at this point, but so the walls in the house, now, like I said, these were brick, but there isn't light blue bricks in Minecraft, so we're going to go with light blue wool. But the walls in this part of the house were slat. And so slat is like, it's kind of like what we got here, only made out of junk boards. Like, it's all flat, but it doesn't fit together, and so there's gaps all through it. I think it's on purpose. And then what they would do is they would slather this plaster mixture over top of the walls. And so we had all this horsehair plaster, and when I say horsehair plaster, I mean it contained horsehair. At least we assume it was horsehair. Who knows what it was? And so the walls were covered in this plaster. And so, you know, I mean, like the nails are handmade, and the 2x4s that the house is built out of still has bark on some of the 2x4s because they're all handmade. And so this plaster stuff was like rock. And so we were when we have to take it off, you got to take like a hammer to it and pound on this plaster stuff. Oh, that's as far as this room is supposed to go out. I guess I hadn't decided how far out it was going. I think this might actually be far enough out, so let me take this out of here. And some of that's got to come out of there too. And so what we wound up with was they only took it back to the slat board, and they didn't take the slat board off because that stuff's terrible to take off. In fact, the whole thing is just a giant mess when you're trying to work with it. And so we had like 50-gallon garbage cans, and we'd sit those in the room, and then you would pound on the wall with hammers. And then you'd have to pull the plaster out because it was smeared across these slab boards that have a slight gap in between them. And so the plaster would have slid or mushed or whatever in between the boards, and then it would be, you know, in between the boards and hard as a rock. And so it was dusty and dirty and horribly dirty. We hung like there wasn't a door on this doorway, and so we hung like a sheet over the doorway while this was all being tore out, and it was just such a mess. And the ceiling is the same way, and so, you know, we tore out the ceiling, and then I'm pretty sure we replaced the ceiling with we used okay, so the walls we just took a hammer to get the plaster off, but the ceiling we actually took like crowbars and stuff and tore out the complete ceiling, and then put up some plywood, and then attached the ceiling tiles to the plywood. But the walls were terrible. So now my family is a huge fan of paneling when they remodel. I don't really use the paneling when I do remodeling jobs, but my dad was a huge fan of paneling, and so when he remodeled the kitchen here, he used paneling, and the panels were hunting scenes, and so there was like deer and ducks and stuff like that all over the walls, and it was kind of this color of the oak wood here. And this oak is actually pretty close to the color of the paneling, and so you know. But you got to imagine that instead of having this little oak wood design, every section of the room is covered in hunting scenes, dogs and dogs chasing foxes, maybe, and then there were like pheasants and deer and moose and all sorts of game animals. And so so that was our kitchen. And this is my upstairs, which is too low to fit. I'm sorry, upstairs. You will have to be redone when we get upstairs. I forgot about the height difference here. But, so, yeah, they didn't really let me help too much on here. I wish, I didn't really want to do any remodeling, and I don't know why they didn't want me to help I just assume it's because I like to get it done, and I don't really like to spend a long time on projects. And my dad liked to spend a lot of time on projects. Not, you know, like I redo a room and I want it done in a couple of days. He'd redo a room and he'd want to spend months on it, and not any kind of quality issue or anything. He just liked to do a little bit and then look at it and then take a break and come back to it later and do a little bit more. And I'm like, all right, let's tear this stuff off the wall in one afternoon. Let's get all the drywalling done in an afternoon, kind of thing. And he'd do a little piece and then stop, and I assume that's why he didn't have me help. Uh, uh, they still kind of do that now. They've been doing this remodeling down here in the spare bedroom, and I haven't helped on that. That's not true. That's not true. I did help one day. They had taken, must have been 3 or 4 days at least over, not all together either, 3 or 4 different days working on removing, oh no, I just want these as oak planks. Working on removing the wallpaper in this back room that's the spare bedroom. And I went in one afternoon and they were still just going at it. And so they're like, well, you try it then if you think it's so easy. So I sprayed the walls down with our wallpaper mixture stuff to remove it, and just went to town and took a whole wall down in a matter of maybe a half hour or so. And they're like, oh, well, you're a lot stronger, so it's easier for you. I'm like, nope, just sprayed it down to the point where it was stopping wet, and then it comes off. Your little squirt twice, scrape a couple times, wait for it, scrape a couple times, wait a little longer. Not working. Alright. Oh, I guess I may have had some jungle slabs and didn't realize it. But, yeah, so the actual, I'm going to have to get some more quartz. I'm like completely out of quartz. I went back to the village, my city, and there's no quartz left there. And as you can see, wait, didn't I just grab, I did grab some, never mind. Maybe I have enough quartz slabs on me. You know what the problem is that I'm so used to playing the modded Minecraft where the bits and pieces just slide off on their own. That didn't come out right. That when you run out of something, it replaces it. I don't even know what I was saying there. Bits and pieces slide off on their own? What the heck? No, on some of the modded Minecraft, when you use up a stack of something, the next stack in your inventory automatically drops down to your hotbar to replace it. And so when it doesn't happen on here, I keep thinking it must mean I'm out. Oop. Thanks, doorway. Alright, let's get this in here. And then... Okay, fine. You stay up there. I'll come up and get you. There we go. Now I gotta knock out the windows. Let's see. There's a window, like, let's say, here. Ah. Stupid fast pick. And man, we've run over time here, and I still have one more thing I wanted to talk about. And then I think this sink was about here. And it was a bigger window. It might actually have been down this way a little bit more. this is a great example here. So the kitchen got remodeled, right? I got two more little stories to tell you, and then I'll end the episode. So the kitchen gets remodeled, right? And so the the trim over top of the sink and around the sink never got finished. Never. Uh, that was the last piece to put up, and so they basically refused to do it because it would meant it was completed. But uh, yeah, all right. I got three more stories to tell you. Okay, so they took the walls down to the slats, right, and then they just put the paneling up over top of the slats. They never put in insulation, so this room was always so cold because it didn't have insulation in the first place. Drove me crazy. And they didn't redo the wiring for most of it, and so it had this old wiring that was made out of rubber and horsehair wrapped cabling. It was crazy, like really old wiring from I don't know when they invented electricity practically. Um, and yeah, so I was never really that impressed with the remodeling of the kitchen. It also didn't help that the house had settled over the years, and so the walls weren't square. And so in the corners, things ran on angles, slight angles. It was crazy. But yeah, this is basically. I mean, there's a couple of chandeliers got to go in here. And like I talked about earlier, when I was a kid, this was actually you could tell where it had been two rooms, and then there was like apparently a stairway over here at one time, but that was before I was born. And then when we tore up the floor and went down to the joist, we actually found the cistern where they had kept their water underneath the floor here. It had like a lid on it and stuff. There was nothing in it. It was just a dry, giant stone tank under the floor, which cement, I think, big cement tank under the floor here, just sitting there where they collected like rainwater and stuff, so they have indoor water, which was probably really cool back then, but was kind of weird to me. I mean, it was cool to see it and stuff, but all right. Any more stories about the kitchen before I finish? I mean, I'm sure I have more stories, but we'll talk about those when I'm putting in the furniture and stuff. I gotta put in the chandeliers yet. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. We'll have to figure that out. But so that's two rooms in my house. It kind of looks like my house too, which is kind of cool. So I'll probably do furniture next time in here and in here. And then, so the time after that, we can start working on what we called our living room. So, all right, click like if you like, subscribe, be sure and catch the next one. And I will talk to you later.